Listen carefully. Your life is not controlled by your circumstances. It is controlled by your reactions. Every failure, every regret, every lost opportunity can be traced back to one moment where emotion overruled reason. This audiobook will install a mental switch inside your mind, a switch that stops impulse, silences chaos, and gives you command. Because the person who controls their reactions controls their future. And if you do not master your reactions, they will master you. Chapter 1. Stop reacting automatically. Most people are not in control of their reactions. They think they are. They feel they are. They insist they are. But they are not. They are running programs. Conditioned responses. Emotional reflexes installed years ago and repeated thousands of times. You see it every day. Someone criticizes you. Your chest tightens. Your voice sharpens. Your tone hardens. You fire back. Not because you chose to. Because you reacted. Automatic. Instant. Unquestioned. That is not power. That is programming. Your nervous system is designed to react fast. Faster than thought. Faster than logic. It was built for survival, not wisdom. When your brain detects threat, real or imagined, it activates the stress response. Adrenaline rises. Heart rate increases. Muscles tense. Words come out sharp. The system is ancient, efficient, and dangerous when left untrained. You have a choice. Most people never realize this. They think emotions control them. They say things like, "I couldn't help it," or "That's just how I am." No, that's how you've been conditioned. There's a difference. One is permanent. The other is programmable. That's the key. Watch two people arguing. Notice how fast it escalates. One sentence becomes two. Two becomes 10. Voices rise. Faces tighten. Volume increases. Neither pauses. Neither breathes. Neither thinks. They react to reactions. Fire to fire. Heat to heat. And suddenly a small disagreement becomes a broken relationship. Not because of the problem. Because of the reactions. Pause first. Power second. Say that again in your mind. Pause first. Power second. The pause is where authority lives. The pause is where intelligence enters. The pause is where reaction dies and choice is born. Without the pause, you are a puppet. With the pause, you are in command. You don't need their permission to pause. You don't need silence from others. You don't need perfect conditions. The pause is internal, invisible, immediate. It is one breath, 1 second, one decision not to fire back. It's not about emotion. It's about discipline. People misunderstand emotional control. They think it means suppressing feelings. Wrong. Suppression is pressure. Pressure explodes. Control is direction. Direction is power. You are not trying to feel less. You are training yourself to react less. That's the difference between fragile people and formidable people. Fragile people react instantly. Formidable people respond deliberately. You have seen this in real life. The calm leader in a crisis. The composed athlete in the final seconds. The negotiator who never raises their voice. They feel pressure. They feel anger. They feel stress. But they do not obey it. They delay it. They examine it. They command it. Pause first. Power second. Your brain will resist this training. It prefers speed. Speed is habit. Speed is familiar. But speed is also where mistakes live. Every regret you have can be traced to a moment you reacted too fast. Sent the message too fast. Spoke too fast. Decided too fast. Emotion loves speed. Wisdom loves delay. You have a choice. Here is your first instruction. Starting today, you do not respond immediately to emotional triggers. Not texts. Not insults. Not pressure. You wait. 3 seconds. That's all. 3 seconds of silence before any response that carries emotion. This is not hesitation. This is command training. Those 3 seconds will feel long. Good. That means you're interrupting the old pattern. Because right now your reactions are habits. And habits are loops. Trigger. Reaction. Relief. Repeat. The brain loves loops because they save energy. But loops don't create excellence. They create predictability. And predictable people are controllable people. When someone knows exactly how you'll react, they can control you. They push a button. You explode. They provoke. You obey. That is not interaction. That is manipulation. You don't need their permission to break that loop. The moment you pause, the loop cracks. The moment you delay, the chain weakens. The moment you choose, the pattern loses power. Choice is the interrupt signal. Choice is the override code. Choice is the master switch. That's the key. Let's make it practical. Someone insults you. Old pattern, instant defense. New pattern, silence. Breath. Observe. Decide. Maybe you respond calmly. Maybe you smile. Maybe you say nothing. The response matters less than the fact that you chose it. Choice is power. Reaction is surrender. Another instruction. Lower your physical intensity when emotions rise. Relax your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Slow your breathing. The body and mind are linked. Calm the body and you calm the reaction. Still body, steady mind. This is not theory. This is biology. Your physiology sends signals to your brain. Change the signal. Change the state. It's not about personality. It's about training. People say, I'm just hot-tempered. No, you're undertrained. People say, I'm emotional. No, you're undisciplined. Temperament is not destiny. It's a starting point. Discipline decides the finish. You have a choice. Understand this clearly. The world respects those who control themselves. Not those who vent. Not those who explode. Not those who react. Anyone can lose control. That requires no skill. Control is rare. Control is magnetic. Control is power. Pause first. Power second. Burn that into your mind until it becomes instinct. Because eventually the pause will be automatic. And when the pause becomes automatic, reactions stop being automatic. That is the turning point. That is when you stop being ruled by impulse and start being ruled by decision. This is how mastery begins. Not with grand gestures. With micro moments. One pause. One breath. One chosen response. Repeated daily. Repeated relentlessly. Repeated until your default setting is calm authority instead of emotional reflex. That's the key. You are not trying to win arguments. You are training your nervous system. You are not trying to look calm. You are becoming calm. And once calm becomes your baseline, nothing external can easily control you. Not insults. Not pressure. Not chaos. Because control is internal, not situational. Most people spend their lives trying to control the world. Masters control themselves. That is why masters win. You have now seen the first truth. Reactions are not fate. They are habits. And habits can be broken. You just broke the illusion that emotions are in charge. They are not. You are. You stopped reacting automatically. Good. Now you're ready for the mechanism that makes that control permanent. Chapter 2. Install the mental switch. You stopped reacting automatically. That was step 1. Now you install control on command. Not someday. Not when it's easy. Now. You need a switch. A mental switch. A deliberate mechanism that interrupts impulse and replaces it with authority. Without a switch, you rely on luck. With a switch, you rely on discipline. That's the key. Your mind moves fast. Faster than you think. Faster than you decide. The emotional brain fires before the logical brain even wakes up. That is why you say things you regret. That is why you react before you understand. That is why people lose control and call it honesty. It is not honesty. It is speed. Speed is the enemy of mastery. The switch is delay. Delay is dominance. Repeat it. Delay is dominance. Elite performers understand this instinctively. Watch a professional athlete in a high-pressure moment. Final seconds. Score tied. Crowd roaring. Muscles tight. Heart pounding. Do they rush? No. They slow down. They breathe. They narrow their focus. They delay action for a fraction of a second. That fraction is control. That fraction is precision. That fraction is the difference between victory and error. You have a choice. Most people do the opposite. Pressure hits. They speed up. Speech accelerates. Movements sharpen. Thoughts scatter. They think faster means stronger. It doesn't. Faster means sloppier. Faster means reactive. Faster means predictable. Predictable people are easy to control. The mental switch is simple. But simple does not mean easy. The switch has 3 steps. Notice. Breathe. Choose. Notice means you detect the trigger. The rising heat. The tightening jaw. The urge to interrupt. The impulse to defend. Awareness is the alarm bell. Without awareness, you react blindly. With awareness, you intercept. That's the key. Breathe means you slow your physiology. 1 slow inhale. 1 steady exhale. This is not relaxation. This is regulation. Your breath tells your nervous system whether you are safe or threatened. Slow breath equals safe. Safe equals clear thinking. Clear thinking equals control. It's not about emotion. It's about discipline. Choose means you decide your response instead of unleashing it. This is where power lives. In the decision, not the feeling. Feelings arrive uninvited. Responses are selected. That is why choice is authority. You don't need their permission to choose your response. Not from critics. Not from family. Not from pressure. Choice is internal jurisdiction. You own it. Delay is dominance. Say someone challenges you publicly. Old pattern, instant defense. New pattern, switch activated. Notice the surge. Breathe once. Choose your tone. Choose your words. Choose your timing. Suddenly the moment belongs to you, not them. They expected reaction. They received composure. That shifts power instantly. Understand what just happened. You overrode your primitive circuitry. You interrupted the automatic program. You replaced instinct with intention. That is not suppression. That is command. Weak minds express everything. Strong minds direct everything. You have a choice. Here is your training drill. For the next 7 days, every emotional trigger becomes a cue to activate the switch. Someone interrupts you. Switch. Someone criticizes you. Switch. Someone pressures you. Switch. Notice. Breathe. Choose. Do not skip steps. Do not rush steps. Precision builds power. At first it will feel artificial. Good. That means you're rewiring. Old habits feel natural because they're practiced. New discipline feels strange because it's new. Stay with it. Repetition installs instinct. What feels forced today becomes automatic tomorrow. That's the key. Let's remove a dangerous lie. People think pausing makes them look weak. Wrong. Reacting makes you look weak. Anyone can explode. That takes no skill. Restraint takes strength. Silence takes confidence. Delay takes authority. When you pause, people notice. When you stay calm, people adjust. When you choose your response, people respect you. Not because you demanded respect, because you demonstrated control. Delay is dominance. Look at leaders in crisis. The room is tense. Everyone talks fast. Everyone panics. Then one person speaks slowly, clearly, calmly. The room shifts toward them. Why? Because calm signals certainty. Certainty signals leadership. Leadership attracts trust. Calm is not personality. Calm is training. It's not about temperament. It's about discipline. Your switch is that discipline. It is portable, instant, invisible. You can use it anywhere. In meetings, in arguments, in negotiations, in silence. No one sees the switch. They only see the results. And the results look like power. Here is another instruction. Stretch time in stressful moments. Count 1-2 before responding. That tiny gap expands your thinking. Inside that gap, logic enters. Perspective enters. Strategy enters. Reaction exits. You have a choice. Most people never install this switch. They live their entire lives at the mercy of impulse. They blame stress. They blame personality. They blame others. But the truth is simpler. They never train the pause. And what you don't train, you don't control. You are different now. You are installing control deliberately. Every time you delay, you strengthen the circuit. Every time you choose, you reinforce authority. Every time you refuse to react instantly, you prove something to yourself. You are in charge. That's the key. Remember this distinction. Reaction is emotional. Response is intentional. Reaction is fast. Response is precise. Reaction is easy. Response is powerful. Delay is dominance. Engrave it into your thinking until it becomes your reflex. Because the ultimate goal is this: the pause becomes automatic. The switch activates itself. The moment pressure appears, your system slows instead of speeds. That is mastery. That is self-command. That is mental authority. And once you control that moment, you control every moment that follows. Because life is nothing but moments. Win enough moments, and you win your direction. Win your direction, and you win your future. You installed the switch. Good. Now you must remove the hidden trigger that sabotages it. The need to defend your ego. Chapter 3. Kill the urge to prove yourself. Most reactions are not caused by truth. They're caused by ego. Not logic. Not necessity. Ego. Someone questions you. You feel heat. Someone disagrees. You feel tension. Someone corrects you. You feel attacked. And instantly you want to prove them wrong. Not because they are wrong. Because your identity feels threatened. Understand this clearly. The urge to prove yourself is one of the most expensive emotional habits you can have. It costs energy. It costs focus. It costs credibility. And worst of all, it costs control. You have a choice. The ego hates silence. The ego hates pause. The ego hates restraint. Why? Because ego feeds on reaction. It wants noise. It wants defense. It wants to win every exchange, even meaningless ones. But mastery is not about winning exchanges. Mastery is about winning direction. That's the key. Look at workplace conflicts. Two colleagues disagree about a small decision. One says the report should be structured this way. The other disagrees. Now watch what happens. The discussion stops being about the report. It becomes about who is right. Voices tighten. Tone sharpens. Words become weapons. Productivity dies. Why? Ego entered the room. Proving drains. Doing builds. Repeat that. Proving drains. Doing builds. Every minute you spend trying to prove you're right is a minute you are not improving results. Every argument you chase is energy you cannot invest in progress. The world rewards output, not ego defense. It's not about pride. It's about discipline. Strong people do not rush to prove themselves. They let results speak. Weak people argue. Strong people execute. Weak people explain. Strong people demonstrate. You have a choice. Imagine someone criticizes your work unfairly. Old instinct says, defend immediately. Raise your voice. List your achievements. Correct them point by point. That feels powerful. It feels justified. It feels satisfying. It is also a trap, because the moment you react emotionally, you hand them control. They pushed a button. You obeyed. That is not dominance. That is compliance disguised as confidence. Silence is often stronger than defense. Silence forces the other person to face their own words. Silence shows you are not threatened. Silence signals authority. People expect reaction. When they don't get it, they feel it. The power shifts instantly. You don't need their permission to stay silent. You don't need approval to remain composed. You don't need validation to stay focused. Silence is a decision, and decision is power. Proving drains. Doing builds. Here is the discipline. The next time you feel the urge to prove yourself, stop. Notice it. Name it. Say internally, that's ego. The moment you name it, you weaken it. Awareness breaks its spell. Awareness gives you space. Space gives you choice. That's the key. Ask yourself one question in that moment. Does this need to be proven, or does it need to be done? If it needs action, act. If it needs results, produce. If it needs time, wait. But do not waste energy defending your identity. Your identity is built through behavior, not argument. It's not about being understood. It's about being effective. The most respected people in any field share one trait. They do not chase validation. They do not rush to justify themselves. They do not argue every point. They stay focused on execution. And because of that, their work speaks louder than their words ever could. You have seen this. The calm expert in a heated meeting. The skilled professional who listens while others argue. The leader who doesn't interrupt criticism. They are not passive. They are strategic. They are choosing restraint because restraint preserves power. Proving drains. Doing builds. Here is another instruction. Reduce explanations. Increase results. Stop over-explaining your intentions. Stop defending every decision. Stop narrating your worth. Let performance speak. Let outcomes answer. Let results silence doubt. Because results end arguments faster than words ever will. You have a choice. Most people exhaust themselves trying to be acknowledged. They want recognition before results. Respect before discipline. Status before mastery. That is backwards. Recognition follows performance. Respect follows consistency. Status follows discipline. That's the key. Understand the psychology. When you chase proof, you signal insecurity. When you stay focused, you signal confidence. People trust the one who stays steady, not the one who reacts loudly. Volume is not authority. Composure is. It's not about being right. It's about being effective. Memorize that distinction. Being right wins debates. Being effective wins outcomes. Debates impress egos. Outcomes build lives. If your goal is growth, proving yourself is a distraction. You don't need their permission to grow quietly. You don't need applause to improve. You don't need agreement to advance. Progress is private before it is public. Discipline is silent before it is visible. Proving drains. Doing builds. Let's make it practical. Someone doubts you. Do not argue. Improve. Someone criticizes you. Do not defend. Refine. Someone underestimates you. Do not correct. Deliver. The pattern is simple. Less talk. More execution. This is how you starve ego. Not by fighting it. By ignoring it. Ego survives on attention. Remove attention and it weakens. Remove reaction and it fades. Remove urgency and it loses control. You have a choice. Remember this truth. The strongest person in the room is usually the quietest. Not because they lack confidence. Because they don't need to display it. They are secure enough to wait. Secure enough to listen. Secure enough not to prove. That is real power. And real power is calm. When you kill the urge to prove yourself, something remarkable happens. Your reactions slow down. Your mind clears. Your decisions sharpen. Because ego is no longer driving. Discipline is. That's the key. You are not here to win arguments. You are here to master yourself. Every time you resist the urge to prove, you strengthen control. Every time you choose results over reactions, you increase authority. Every time you stay silent instead of defensive, you demonstrate strength. You are training dominance over impulse. Dominance over ego. Dominance over reaction. Proving drains. Doing builds. Carry that sentence with you into every conversation, every conflict, every challenge. Let it interrupt your impulses. Let it guide your behavior. Let it remind you that your job is not to convince people of your value. Your job is to build value. You have now removed one of the biggest triggers of emotional reaction, the need to prove. Without that need, fewer things can provoke you. Without that trigger, fewer people can control you. You are becoming harder to shake, harder to bait, harder to move. And that is exactly what emotional mastery looks like. You stopped reacting automatically. You installed the switch. You silenced the ego. Now it's time to control the physical signals that betray emotion before words even begin. Chapter 4. Control your face, control your fate. Your body speaks before your mouth does. Always. Before words form, before logic arrives, before decisions settle, your face announces your state. Your posture reveals your control. Your tension exposes your fear. You think reactions start in the mind. They don't. They start in the body. Tight jaw, raised shoulders, narrow eyes, quick breathing. These are not small signals. These are commands. Signals sent straight back to your brain saying, danger, pressure, threat, and your brain obeys. That's the key. Most people try to control emotion mentally while their body is screaming panic signals. That is like trying to put out a fire while pouring gasoline on it. It doesn't work. You cannot think your way into calm if your body is performing chaos. Still body, sharp mind. Repeat it. Still body, sharp mind. Watch elite negotiators. High stakes. Millions on the line. Pressure thick in the air. One negotiator fidgets. Taps fingers. Tightens lips. Shifts posture. The other sits still. Relaxed shoulders. Neutral face. Slow breathing. Guess who wins more often? The still one. Not because they are smarter. Because they are calmer. And calm thinkers make better decisions. Calm voices sound more credible. Calm faces project authority. Stillness is not passive. Stillness is power contained. You have a choice. Most people let their body react first, and their mind chase after it. Masters reverse that order. Masters command the body, and the body stabilizes the mind. This is not philosophy. This is physiology. Your nervous system reads your posture like data. Slumped equals defeated. Rigid equals threatened. Relaxed equals safe. And when your brain detects safety, it unlocks clarity. It's not about appearance. It's about discipline. Understand this. Your face is a trigger. Not just for others. For you. A clenched expression feeds anger. A tight brow feeds worry. A tense jaw feeds aggression. Your muscles reinforce your mood. That means control your muscles, and you influence your mood. That's the key. Here is your first physical command. Relax your jaw. Right now. Notice it. Most people carry tension there all day. They don't even realize it. That tension whispers stress signals to the brain nonstop. Release it, and the signal softens. Release it, and your thoughts slow. Still body, sharp mind. Second command. Drop your shoulders. Stress lifts them. Discipline lowers them. High shoulders tell your brain you're bracing for impact. Lowered shoulders tell your brain you're in control. Small shift. Massive effect. Third command. Slow your movements. Fast gestures equal nervous energy. Slow gestures equal authority. Watch confident people. They don't rush. They don't twitch. They don't scramble. Their movements are deliberate. Measured. Economical. Because speed is often a symptom of anxiety, not power. You don't need their permission to move slowly. You don't need approval to stay composed. You don't need agreement to remain still. Your physical state is your jurisdiction. Own it. Still body, sharp mind. Let's get practical. Someone challenges you in conversation. Their tone sharpens. Their posture leans forward. Their voice rises. Old habit says mirror them. Lean forward. Tighten. React. That is instinct. That is mimicry. That is loss of control. New discipline says the opposite. You lean back slightly. Relax your face. Slow your blink. Lower your voice. You do not match their intensity. You neutralize it. And something powerful happens. Their aggression has nowhere to land. Their emotional momentum collapses. Because emotional escalation requires participation. Without your reaction, their fire starves. You have a choice. Most people don't realize how visible their emotions are. They think they are hiding frustration while their face broadcasts it like a billboard. They think they look confident while their posture leaks doubt. They think they appear calm while their hands betray them. Your body always tells the truth. Train it. It's not about natural confidence. It's about physical discipline. Confidence is not a feeling. It is a pattern of behavior. And behavior is physical. Stand straight. Move slowly. Speak evenly. Hold eye contact. These are not personality traits. These are trained actions. Repeat them long enough, and they become your baseline. That's the key. Here is your training drill. Throughout the day, scan your body. Jaw. Shoulders. Hands. Breathing. If tension is present, release it deliberately. Do not wait for calm to arrive. Create it physically. Your body is not just expressing your state. It is generating your state. Still body, sharp mind. Another instruction. Practice neutral face discipline. When listening, keep your expression relaxed and steady. Do not overreact with exaggerated nods or dramatic reactions. Neutral does not mean cold. Neutral means controlled. Controlled means credible. People trust steady faces. They doubt erratic ones. You have a choice. Think about the last time you lost your composure. Your body changed first. Heart raced. Muscles tightened. Breath shortened. The physical shift came before the verbal reaction. That means you can intercept the reaction early by intercepting the body. Control the body. Control the reaction. That's the key. This is why trained professionals drill physical composure. Pilots, surgeons, soldiers. Not because it looks good, because it stabilizes decision-making under pressure. When the body is steady, perception sharpens. When perception sharpens, judgment improves. When judgment improves, outcomes improve. Still body, sharp mind. Understand the deeper truth. Emotional control is not abstract. It is mechanical. It is posture. It is breath. It is muscle tension. Anyone can learn it. Anyone can train it. Anyone can apply it, including you. You don't need their permission to master your presence. And once you master your presence, something shifts. People sense it. They feel your steadiness. They respond differently. They speak differently. They treat you differently. Because composure signals authority without saying a word. That is real influence. Most people chase control through words. Masters display control through presence. Words can be doubted. Presence cannot. Presence is felt instantly. And physical discipline is what creates it. It's not about intimidation. It's about stability. Remember that distinction. Intimidation tries to overpower others. Stability makes overpowering unnecessary. When you are stable, you don't need to dominate. Your calm does it for you. Still body, sharp mind. Lock that phrase into your behavior until it becomes instinct. Because once your body obeys you, your emotions will too. And when your emotions obey you, your reactions no longer control you. You are no longer readable, no longer predictable, no longer easily provoked. That is the beginning of real power. You now control your reactions mentally. You now control your reactions physically. But there is one more layer. The deepest layer. The layer where emotion is born before it ever reaches your body. You mastered your expression. Now you must master your perception. Chapter 5. Detach from the moment. Most people don't experience emotions. They become them. Anger arrives, and they are anger. Stress appears, and they are stress. Fear rises, and they are fear. They don't observe the emotion. They merge with it. And the moment they merge, they lose control. You will not. Because control requires distance. Not distance from reality. Distance from reaction. Distance from the surge. Distance from the noise inside your head. The skill is simple to understand. Hard to master. But once learned, it changes everything. Observe. Don't absorb. Say it again. Observe. Don't absorb. Emotions are signals, not commands. Signals are meant to be read. Commands are meant to be obeyed. Weak minds obey. Strong minds read. The difference is awareness. The difference is separation. The difference is whether you stand inside the emotion or step back and watch it. That's the key. Picture a storm. If you stand in the storm, you feel chaos. Wind hits you. Rain blinds you. Thunder shakes you. But if you watch the storm from shelter, you see patterns. Direction. Movement. Timing. Same storm. Different position. One feels powerless. One sees clearly. Emotions work the same way. You have a choice. Most people stand inside their emotions. Masters step outside them. Not physically. Mentally. They create space between stimulus and identity. They say, I feel anger, instead of I am angry. That one shift changes everything. One statement observes. The other becomes. It's not about emotion. It's about discipline. Crisis responders are trained this way. firefighters, paramedics, tactical units. When chaos erupts, they don't shout internally. They narrate, calmly, precisely, heart rate rising, smoke increasing, exit blocked, alternate route left. This narration keeps their mind in observer mode. Observer mode keeps them functional. Observe. Don't absorb. Absorbing emotion blinds you. Observing emotion informs you. One destroys judgment. The other sharpens it. That is why trained professionals survive pressure, while untrained minds collapse under it. And you can train this too. Here is your first mental drill. When emotion rises, label it. Not dramatically. Clinically. Quietly. This is frustration. This is anxiety. This is anger. Labeling creates distance. Distance creates clarity. Clarity creates control. That's the key. Your brain cannot fully react and fully observe at the same time. It must choose. If you observe, reaction weakens. If you react, observation disappears. So your job is simple. Shift roles. Stop being the actor. Become the watcher. You don't need their permission to observe. Not from the situation. Not from the pressure. Not from the people provoking you. Observation is internal authority. No one can block it. No one can interrupt it. No one can take it from you. Observe. Don't absorb. Let's destroy a myth. Detachment does not mean you don't care. Detachment means you care enough to stay in control. A surgeon is detached during surgery. Not because they are cold. Because they are precise. A pilot is detached during turbulence. Not because they are indifferent. Because they are responsible. Detachment is not apathy. Detachment is strategic awareness. It's not about indifference. It's about discipline. People who absorb emotions think they are being authentic. They say, I just feel things deeply. No, they react quickly. Depth is not measured by intensity. Depth is measured by understanding. And understanding requires observation. You have a choice. When someone insults you, you can absorb it. Feel attacked. Feel hurt. Feel defensive. Or you can observe it. Notice their tone. Notice their posture. Notice their motive. Suddenly the situation becomes information instead of invasion. Information gives you power. Invasion takes it. That's the key. Here is another technique. Slow the moment down mentally. Imagine watching the situation as if it were a scene in a film. See yourself. See the other person. See the environment. This mental zoom out interrupts emotional immersion. It reminds your mind, this is an event, not your identity. Events pass. Identity stays. Observe. Don't absorb. Most people fuse their identity to temporary feelings. They say, I'm a failure instead of I failed. They say, I'm disrespected instead of that was disrespectful. Notice the difference. One defines the self. The other describes the event. One traps you. The other frees you. It's not about the moment. It's about your position in the moment. Choose the observer position, and the emotion loses authority. Choose the reactor position, and the emotion takes command. That choice happens fast. But it exists. Always. You have a choice. Here is your daily practice. 3 times a day, pause and ask, what am I feeling right now? Name it. Notice it. Do not judge it. Observation without judgment is mastery training. You are teaching your mind that feelings can be seen without being obeyed. That's the key. Emotions are loud. Observers are quiet. Loud feels powerful. Quiet is powerful. Loud is impulse. Quiet is command. Loud is reaction. Quiet is decision. Observe. Don't absorb. When you master this, something remarkable happens. Situations that used to trigger you now inform you. Insults reveal insecurity. Anger reveals pressure. Criticism reveals expectation. You stop seeing emotional moments as threats. You start seeing them as data. And data is useful. You don't need their permission to analyze a moment. You don't need approval to stay aware. You don't need validation to remain steady. Awareness belongs to you. Most people want control over others. Masters want control over perception. Because perception shapes reaction. Reaction shapes outcome, and outcome shapes life. That's the key. Understand this truth. The moment you can watch your emotions, they stop controlling you. They may still appear. They may still surge. But they no longer command. They report. And you decide what to do with the report. That is authority. Observe. Don't absorb. Burn that sentence into your mind until it becomes your instinctive response to pressure. Because once you observe emotions instead of absorbing them, they weaken. And when they weaken, your discipline strengthens. And when discipline strengthens, your reactions obey you. You are no longer trapped inside the moment. You are standing above it, seeing it, reading it, directing yourself through it. You now know how to pause. You now know how to switch. You now know how to silence ego. You now know how to command your body. You now know how to observe emotion. But there is still one enemy left. The fuel that keeps impulsive reactions alive. The fuel that feeds them strength every time you give in. You learn to step back from emotion. Now you must cut off its food supply. Chapter 6: Starve the impulse. Impulses feel powerful, urgent, demanding. They arrive like orders. Speak now. React now. Defend now. Interrupt now. And most people obey instantly. Not because they must, because they never learned they don't have to. An impulse is not authority. It is a suggestion. You have a choice. The greatest lie your mind tells you is this: if I feel it, I must act on it. That lie has destroyed more discipline, more relationships, and more opportunities than failure ever has. Because once you believe that feeling equals action, you surrender control. You become a servant to every passing urge. Masters don't obey impulses. Masters outlast them. That's the key. Impulses are like sparks. Feed them and they become fire. Ignore them and they fade into smoke. But most people panic when they feel the spark. They stomp, shout, react, and in doing so they pour oxygen on it. Their reaction strengthens the very thing they want to stop. What you don't feed dies. Repeat it. What you don't feed dies. Cravings prove this. Scientists who study behavior have observed something fascinating. When a craving hits food, anger, distraction, anything, it surges, peaks, then fades. Most last about 90 seconds if you don't act on them. 90 seconds. That's all. A minute and a half between you and control. But people don't wait 90 seconds. They react in 9. You will not. You have a choice. The next time an impulse rises, do nothing. Not forever. Just briefly. Watch it. Time it. Feel it crest and fall. You'll notice something surprising. The urge weakens on its own. Not because you fought it. Because you starved it. That's the key. Self-control is not built through force. It is built through non-reaction. Force creates tension. Tension creates strain. Strain creates collapse. But observation creates distance. Distance creates calm. Calm creates authority. It's not about willpower. It's about discipline. Willpower is loud. Discipline is quiet. Willpower tries to overpower the urge. Discipline lets the urge exhaust itself. One is a fight. The other is a strategy. And strategy always outlasts struggle. What you don't feed dies. Picture someone provoking you. They raise their voice. They insult you. They expect you to snap back. The impulse surges. Your chest tightens. Words line up in your throat. This is the moment most people fail. They speak. They react. They obey. Instead, you wait. 5 seconds. 10 seconds. 15. You breathe. You watch the urge like a wave. And just like a wave, it breaks. The intensity drops. The pressure softens. Suddenly you're not fighting anymore. You're choosing. That's power. You don't need their permission to pause. You don't need approval to stay silent. You don't need validation to remain steady. Silence is not surrender. Silence is control held in reserve. What you don't feed dies. Every time you refuse an impulse, you weaken it. Every time you obey an impulse, you strengthen it. This is conditioning, training, programming. Your brain wires itself according to what you repeat. Feed the impulse, and it grows. Starve it, and it shrinks. You are training your nervous system with every reaction. You have a choice. Most people accidentally train themselves to be impulsive. They check every notification. They answer every criticism. They respond to every irritation. Their brain learns a pattern. Urge equals action. Action equals relief. So the brain sends more urges. Stronger ones. Faster ones. You must reverse the pattern. Urge appears. No action. Brain waits. No reward. Brain learns. Urge weakens. That is how discipline is built. Quietly. Gradually. Reliably. That's the key. Let's make it practical. You feel the urge to interrupt someone. Don't. Let them finish. You feel the urge to check your phone. Don't. Wait 1 minute. You feel the urge to argue. Don't. Ask a question instead. Each small refusal is a repetition. Each repetition is a rep. Each rep strengthens control. It's not about perfection. It's about discipline. Discipline is not one big heroic act. It is 1,000 small denials. Tiny moments where you say no to impulse and yes to direction. People think strength is dramatic. Real strength is quiet. Invisible. Repeated. What you don't feed dies. Here is your training drill. Pick one impulse you often obey. Just one. Maybe it's snapping back when criticized. Maybe it's checking your phone constantly. Maybe it's defending yourself too quickly. For the next 72 hours, delay that impulse every time it appears. Not forever. Just 90 seconds. Time it. Watch it fade. Learn from it. You are proving something to yourself. You are proving that urges are temporary, but decisions are permanent. Urges pass. Consequences stay. So you stop obeying what passes and start obeying what lasts. That's the key. Understand this distinction. Feeling is automatic. Feeding is optional. You cannot stop a feeling from appearing, but you can stop yourself from fueling it. And once you stop fueling it, it weakens. Once it weakens, you strengthen. You have a choice. Many people fear that if they don't act on an impulse, it will grow unbearable. The opposite is true. Acting on it makes it stronger next time. Resisting it makes it weaker next time. Every moment of restraint is a vote for your future authority. You don't need their permission to be disciplined. Not from your environment. Not from your mood. Not from your past habits. Discipline is self-issued. Self-enforced. Self-owned. What you don't feed dies. When you master this principle, something shifts inside you. Urges stop feeling like commands. They start feeling like background noise. They still appear, but they no longer control. They whisper instead of shout. And eventually, many stop appearing at all, because you stopped feeding them. That is freedom. Not freedom from emotion. Freedom from obedience to emotion. And that is the difference between being driven and being directed. You are not here to eliminate impulses. You are here to outlast them, to outgrow them, to outdiscipline them. Because the person who can wait 90 seconds when everyone else reacts instantly is the person who controls the outcome. That person is becoming you. You have learned to pause, to switch, to silence ego, to command your body, to observe emotion, to starve impulse. You are gaining authority over reaction layer by layer. But there is one final refinement that turns control into influence. Control is internal. Influence is external. You mastered your impulses. Now you must master your timing. Chapter 7. Train calm under pressure. Pressure reveals you. Not your wishes. Not your excuses. You. Most people panic when tension rises. Heart races. Thoughts scatter. Decisions collapse. They call that personality. They say, "I'm just not good under pressure." That's a lie they rehearse until it sounds like truth. Calm is not personality. Calm is training. You have a choice. Pressure is practice. That's the key. Firefighters don't rise to the occasion. They fall to their training. Soldiers don't improvise courage. They execute repetition. Emergency surgeons don't hope for steady hands. They drill until their hands obey. They train calm. On purpose. Pressure is practice. You think they enjoy stress? No. They normalize it. They step into it so often that chaos stops feeling like chaos. Noise becomes signal. Urgency becomes routine. Fear becomes data. You can do the same. It's not about nerves. It's about discipline. It's not about talent. It's about discipline. It's not about personality. It's about discipline. You have a choice. When stress hits, your body fires alarms. Adrenaline, cortisol, heat, tight breath. That surge is automatic. But what happens next is not automatic. What happens next is trained. Untrained minds react. Trained minds execute. Pressure is practice. Military units repeat drills until boredom replaces fear. They simulate disaster. Again, again, again. Not because they expect perfection, because they expect pressure. They build familiarity with stress, so stress loses its teeth. That's the key. Familiarity kills panic. You panic at what feels unfamiliar. A confrontation, a deadline, a risk. Your brain screams danger because it has no record of survival. So it invents catastrophe. It floods you with urgency. It demands escape. You have a choice. You can obey that signal, or you can retrain it. You don't need their permission. Start small. Controlled pressure. Timed decisions. Cold showers. Public speaking reps. Hard conversations. Strict deadlines you impose on yourself. Each one is a drill. Each one is a message to your nervous system. Pressure is practice. You are not proving toughness. You are installing software. People misunderstand composure. They think calm means relaxed. Wrong. Calm means directed. Calm means you feel the surge, but you steer anyway. Calm is not the absence of stress. Calm is command during stress. That's the key. Look at elite performers. Pilots. Athletes. Negotiators. Their pulse spikes just like yours. Their palms sweat. Their mind senses risk. But their training speaks louder than their fear. Their preparation interrupts panic. Preparation is louder than fear. You want confidence? Rehearse pressure. You want control? Rehearse pressure. You want authority? Rehearse pressure. Pressure is practice. Here is the rule. Never avoid manageable stress. Seek it. Dose it. Repeat it. Avoidance trains fragility. Exposure trains strength. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. It's not about ease. It's about discipline. It's not about mood. It's about discipline. You have a choice. When you dodge pressure, you teach your brain that pressure is dangerous. When you face pressure, you teach your brain that pressure is survivable. The lesson you repeat becomes the instinct you live. That's the key. Instinct is trained memory. Think of a boxer. In the ring, there is no time to think. Only time to act. Every move comes from rehearsal. Every defense from repetition. Every counter from muscle memory. He is not calm because he is fearless. He is calm because he has practiced chaos until chaos feels ordinary. Pressure is practice. You want that edge? Then train before the moment arrives. Rehearse your response to stress before stress demands it. Visualize confrontation. Speak your words out loud. Time your reactions. Practice your posture. Drill your breathing. You don't rise when pressure comes. You default. So build a better default. You have a choice. Breathing is your first tool. Slow inhale. Slow exhale. Longer exhale than inhale. That pattern tells your nervous system you are in control. Do it during minor stress so it works during major stress. Train it until it is automatic. That's the key. Automatic calm beats forced calm. Second tool. Narrow your focus. Under pressure, your mind wants to scan everything. That creates overload. Instead, pick one target, one action, one step. Execute it. Then the next. Then the next. Pressure is practice. Third tool. Narrate reality. Say it quietly in your mind. Heart racing. Hand steady. Voice clear. This anchors you in observation, not panic. Description replaces distortion. Facts replace fear. You don't need their permission. You don't need silence. You don't need perfect conditions. You need reps. Most people wait to feel ready. Professionals train until ready is irrelevant. It's not about readiness. It's about discipline. Say it again. Pressure is practice. You are not trying to eliminate stress. That's impossible. Stress is part of growth. Stress is part of leadership. Stress is part of every meaningful pursuit. You are training to function inside it. That's the key. Function beats avoidance. Every time you stay steady under strain, you send yourself evidence. Evidence builds belief. Belief builds identity. Identity builds behavior. Soon calm is not something you try to do. It is something you do. You have a choice. Feed panic or feed training. Feed avoidance or feed exposure. Feed excuses or feed discipline. What you feed grows. Pressure is practice. When the real test arrives, and it will, you will not search for courage. You will execute conditioning. Your voice will slow. Your posture will settle. Your thoughts will sharpen. Others will call you unshakable. You will call it repetition. That's the key. Remember this. Calm is earned in advance. Not in the storm. Before it. In drills. In rehearsals. In chosen discomfort. You build it when nothing is at stake, so it shows up when everything is. You don't need their permission. Train when it's quiet. Perform when it's loud. Pressure is practice. You're building a mind that does not flinch. A presence that does not scatter. A will that does not stall. This is how you become dangerous in the best sense of the word. Dangerous to chaos. Dangerous to fear. Dangerous to doubt. Because you trained. You have a choice. Most people wait for pressure to stop. You will train until pressure strengthens you. Most people hope to stay calm. You will practice until calm obeys you. That is power. That is discipline. That is transformation. You trained your nerves. You trained your breath. You trained your focus. Now it's time to train the force that decides your direction when emotion screams the loudest. You mastered pressure. Now let's master control. Chapter 8. Reject emotional contagion. Emotions are contagious. Always. Not everyone knows it. Most people think feelings are private. Wrong. They are social. They ripple. They infect. One person's panic spreads. One person's anger multiplies. One person's frustration becomes a shared epidemic. You have a choice. Their storm is not your weather. Say it again. Their storm is not your weather. Most people are puppets, pulled by the moods of others. They mirror the panic in the office. They echo the outrage on social media. They adopt fear they never felt. They obey urgency they never owned. Not you. You don't need their permission. This is the truth. Uncontrolled people recruit others into their chaos. One angry coworker. One hyped-up friend. One complaining leader. And suddenly the energy around you shifts. Tension rises. Decisions cloud. Focus dissolves. Productivity dies. That's the key. You are not obligated to join their party. You are not required to match their emotion. You are not responsible for their internal state. You are responsible for yours. That is discipline. That is power. That is freedom. Their storm is not your weather. Observe it. Notice it. Label it. Don't absorb it. A frustrated colleague yells. A teammate complains endlessly. Social media rages. You see the emotion. You do not take it in. You do not react. You stay grounded. That's the key. Emotional boundaries are not walls. They are shields. Shields allow you to interact without infection. They let you participate without becoming the virus. They let you observe without reacting. They let you control without collapsing. You have a choice. Let's talk mechanics. When someone is escalating, notice 3 things. Their energy. Fast or loud. Their intent. Are they seeking attention? Approval? Control. Your response. Neutral. Controlled. Observing. Focus on your response. The only variable you can truly command is you. Everything else is external. Do not mistake their chaos for obligation. Their storm is not your weather. Most people react because they mistake the intensity for urgency. Angry voices demand reply. Panicked coworkers demand intervention. Social hysteria demands participation. False. Intensity does not equal authority. Urgency does not equal correctness. Volume does not equal control. You have a choice. Your emotional immunity starts with recognition. Step 1. Name it. This is anger. This is panic. This is drama. Step 2. Separate it. I am not this emotion. I do not need to absorb it. Step 3. Act deliberately. Pause. Breathe. Decide. Respond only if necessary. That's the key. Imagine an office scenario. One team member lashes out, shouts, blames, threatens. Everyone else tenses. Productivity drops. Emails grow aggressive. Meetings derail. Then one person doesn't react. Calm, steady, composed. Listens. Notes. Does not feed the fire. Slowly, the energy normalizes. Chaos recedes. You want to be that one. Their storm is not your weather. Another example, social media. A feed full of outrage, misinformation, and fear. Most people scroll and absorb. They panic. They post. They react. They engage in emotional warfare. You scroll. Observe. Ignore. Do not amplify. Do not participate. Do not absorb. Mental immunity intact. You have a choice. Boundaries are not selfish. They are strategic. They protect focus. They protect clarity. They protect energy. Energy is currency. Emotional immunity is wealth. Discipline allows you to preserve it. That's the key. Let's get tactical. How do you implement this daily? Notice when moods spike around you. Label it silently. This is frustration. This is fear. Take a breath. Slow down. Ground your body. Relax your face and posture. Decide whether any action is required. Often it is not. Often silence is superior. Often patience wins. Their storm is not your weather. You are training your mind like a muscle. The more you refuse emotional infection, the stronger your immunity. The more you practice detachment, the easier it becomes to remain steady. The more you enforce boundaries, the less chaos can touch you. You have a choice. Do not underestimate small, repeated acts. One refusal to react. One pause. One observation. One deliberate breath. Layered consistently, these small acts create unshakable composure. People notice it even if they cannot name it. Authority radiates quietly. Respect follows. Control multiplies. That's the key. Understand this principle clearly. Emotional contagion thrives on participation. If you refuse to participate, the contagion dies. If you feed it, it grows. If you observe without reaction, it collapses into noise. Discipline makes chaos harmless. You have a choice. You don't need their permission to remain unshaken. You don't need to join the panic. You don't need to prove your alertness. You don't need to mirror someone else's frustration. You decide your emotional state. Always. Their storm is not your weather. Repeat it. Insist on it. Internalize it. Let it guide your interactions. Let it shape your boundaries. Let it guard your mind. Let it define your response before you even hear the provocation. Calm people control the room. Chaotic people only consume energy. Which do you want to be? You have a choice. The final exercise for this chapter. Identify one emotional virus in your life. One person, one environment, one source that spreads uncontrolled emotion. For 7 days, practice detachment. Observe without absorbing. Respond minimally or not at all. Label internally. Breathe deliberately. Maintain physical composure. Witness the difference. Energy preserved. Focus sharpened. Authority radiates. Chaos neutralized. Their storm is not your weather. Discipline creates immunity. Observation maintains it. Non-reaction strengthens it. And eventually mental immunity becomes instinct. You no longer get pulled into drama. You no longer obey the moods of others. You no longer surrender your clarity. You have a choice. Your mind is yours. Your focus is yours. Your energy is yours. Their storm is theirs. And you will not carry it. You mastered your impulses. You mastered your reactions. You mastered calm under pressure. Now it's time to master influence without infection. Chapter 9. Discipline your inner voice. The loudest opponent you face is inside your head. Not your boss. Not your critics. Not the world. It is your inner voice. That quiet commentator that whispers doubt, exaggerates insult, predicts failure. That voice determines whether you act with authority or collapse in hesitation. You have a choice. Command the voice. Say it again. Command the voice. Most people believe thoughts are truth. Wrong. Thoughts are suggestions. Opinions without obligation. Yet most people obey every suggestion as law. Every fear, every self-criticism, every imagined insult. They elevate a whisper to a verdict. Not you. You don't need their permission. This inner voice can be weaponized or it can be tamed. Left unchecked, it triggers reaction, fuels emotion, sabotages action. But disciplined, it becomes your strategist, your coach, your radar in chaos. That is authority. That is transformation. Command the voice. Start by noticing it. Catch the commentary as it arises. Don't judge it. Don't panic. Just observe. Name it. This is doubt. This is fear. This is distraction. Recognition alone begins the separation. Observation is control. Observation is discipline. Observation is freedom. You have a choice. Now comes the active step. Respond deliberately. Replace harmful suggestions with constructive instruction. Your inner voice says, "You can't handle this." Reply, "I am prepared. I act deliberately." Your inner voice says, "They are judging you." Reply, "I focus on facts. I control what I can." Your inner voice says, "You'll fail." Reply, "Failure is temporary. Discipline is permanent." Command the voice. It's not about silencing thoughts. That's impossible. Thoughts will always appear. It's about selection. It's about authority. It's about deciding which thoughts deserve attention and which thoughts deserve dismissal. You have a choice. Think of athletes. Champions fail in practice dozens of times, but they do not fail in the arena. Why? Because they train their mind. When fear arises, they recognize it. When doubt arises, they counter it. When tension arises, they breathe through it. Their inner voice is no longer a saboteur. It is an ally. That's the key. Let's break it down further. The inner voice has 3 common traps. Exaggeration. This is impossible. Everyone will notice. Correct with perspective. It is a challenge. I can manage. I focus on my preparation. Blame. This is their fault. They ruined me. Correct with accountability. I control my response. I own my actions. Prediction. I will fail. I always fail. Correct with evidence. I have succeeded before. I can adapt. I can succeed now. Command the voice. You are retraining neural pathways. Each corrective thought rewires how your mind responds to pressure. The more you intervene, the stronger your mental authority. The more you repeat this process, the faster the inner voice becomes obedient. You don't need their permission. The most common failure is inaction caused by internal chatter. Performers stumble. Leaders hesitate. Entrepreneurs freeze. It is rarely because of external threats. It is internal exaggeration, internal panic, internal narrative. You can eliminate this obstacle. Command the voice. Here is your daily exercise. Set aside 3 moments each day to speak internally with precision. Identify a situation that triggers stress. Watch the thoughts arise. Pause. Then respond deliberately with constructive, guiding language. Examples. I can handle this. I am prepared. I remain calm. I act with clarity. I focus on what matters. I ignore distractions. Repeat. 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 Internal repetition is training. Training is discipline. Discipline is power. You have a choice. Self-talk does not need permission. Your mind does not need approval. You don't need to justify your control to anyone. The inner dialogue is yours to command. Every thought you correct is a small victory. Every victory accumulates. Eventually, composure becomes instinct. Authority becomes default. Command the voice. Watch how this transforms behavior. When you discipline self-talk, you reduce reactivity. You reduce anxiety. You increase focus. You speak with confidence because your mind speaks with clarity first. You lead with calm because your internal world is steady. That's the key. Internal chaos triggers external chaos. Internal control triggers external command. This is not theory. This is observable in every top performer, every leader, every person who does not surrender to circumstance. Their secret is not luck or charisma. Their secret is disciplined self-talk. Command the voice. Do not underestimate repetition. One corrective statement will not rewire your mind. 10, 20, 50 repeated consciously, consistently, and deliberately will. Make this your habit. Make it your ritual. Observe, correct, command. That is the cycle. That is the method. That is the path to mastery. You have a choice. Remember, thoughts appear automatically. You cannot stop them. You can only select which ones govern you. You are the gatekeeper. You are the commander. You are the strategist of your internal landscape. Command the voice. And here is the final principle. Treat the inner voice like a coach, not a critic. A coach instructs. A critic berates. Which do you want guiding your actions? You have a choice. Choose discipline. Choose precision. Choose authority. Command the voice. You disciplined your reactions. You trained calm under pressure. You rejected emotional contagion. Now the final refinement. Align all internal and external control into a singular force that defines how you show up in the world. Chapter 10. Become untouchable. Calm is power. Control is command. Say it again. Calm is power. Control is command. These are not slogans. They are principles. Principles that separate those who stumble in chaos from those who steer through it. Those who react from those who lead. Those who are carried by circumstance from those who carry circumstance itself. You have a choice. You are now at the point where all prior chapters converge. You have stopped reacting automatically. You have installed the mental switch. You killed the urge to prove yourself. You controlled your face. You detached from the moment. You starved impulses. You trained calm under pressure. You rejected emotional contagion. You disciplined your inner voice. Each lesson is a layer. Each repetition is reinforcement. Together, they form armor. Mental armor. Emotional armor. Behavioral armor. And armor makes you untouchable. That's the key. Untouchable is not about arrogance. It is not about dominance over others. Untouchable is mastery over yourself. It is authority that cannot be shaken by insults, interruptions, or sudden crises. It is power that does not need approval, validation, or recognition. Others may react. You remain steady. Others panic. You observe. Others argue. You decide. Calm is power. Control is command. Consider leaders in moments of crisis. They are the ones everyone turns to. Why? Because they do not panic. Their composure radiates. Their clarity guides action. Their stability is contagious. People feel safer following someone who does not unravel. Authority grows quietly from consistency. Command grows silently from discipline. You have a choice. Most people mistake charisma for influence. Wrong. Influence comes from predictability under pressure. Power comes from control, not volume. Strength comes from composure, not aggression. You want to be the person others can rely on when the world threatens to collapse. That person is untouchable. That person is rare. That person is you. Calm is power. Control is command. Repetition is your tool. Repeat the process daily. Pause before reacting. Observe your impulses. Speak with precision. Reject the chaos around you. Align your inner and outer discipline. Every microaction reinforces your reputation. Every controlled response signals stability. Every moment of restraint trains the observers around you. They notice. They respect. They follow. You don't need their permission. Here is the reality. People test untouchable individuals. They provoke. They challenge. They shout. They undermine. And still, the untouchable remains steady. Not because the test is easy. Not because they lack emotion. Because they have trained control. They respond only when necessary. They do not feel chaos. They do not feed the fire. Their calm is a weapon. Their discipline is a shield. Calm is power. Control is command. The untouchable understands timing. Not every reaction is required. Not every impulse is valid. Not every emotion demands expression. They wait. They act with intent. They execute with precision. This patience is not weakness. It is authority. It is invisible strength that shapes outcomes without effort. You have a choice. Consider crisis situations in history, in business, in daily life. The ones remembered are not the loudest. They are the steady, the composed, the consistent. People trust them instinctively because their reactions are predictable, deliberate, and effective. Reputation for stability is earned, not claimed. It is the byproduct of disciplined emotional control. That's the key. Let's break down the practice. You want to be untouchable. Pause consistently before reacting to any provocation. Build automatic hesitation that feels natural, not forced. Observe without absorbing all external and internal chaos. Distance is your armor. Detachment is your strength. Control your voice, posture, and expression to reflect steady authority. Calm bodies signal calm minds. Select your words with precision. Speak only what moves objectives forward. Silence is not absence, it is influence. Reinforce inner discipline through repeated mental rehearsal. Daily drills of patience, controlled breathing, and response evaluation build instinctual composure. Calm is power. Control is command. Many underestimate repetition. One moment of composure does not make you untouchable. 1 week of restraint does not make you immune. Consistency compounds. Discipline accumulates. Repetition ingrains. Eventually, composure is not a skill you perform. It is the default state you occupy. People feel it. They respect it. They follow it. You have a choice. Now consider the broader truth. Emotional control is not a single skill. It is not a technique. It is not optional. Emotional control is the foundation of all success. Every decision, every action, every relationship, every influence rests on it. Without it, intelligence is wasted, opportunity is missed, and potential is sabotaged. With it, every other skill amplifies. With it, influence multiplies. With it, life bends toward you. That's the key. You mastered reaction. You mastered pause. You mastered silence. You mastered detachment. You mastered inner authority. Now all these converge. You are untouchable. Not in arrogance. Not in ego. But in effect. In presence. In every situation where chaos seeks to undermine, you are steady. Where others falter, you persist. Where pressure rises, you direct. Calm is power. Control is command. Let's cement this in practice. Identify the triggers that used to unravel you. Arguments. Criticism. Chaos. Disruption. Now imagine yourself in those exact moments. See yourself pause. See yourself breathe. See yourself observe. See yourself act with precision. Internalize that image. Repeat it. Replay it. Train until the scenario no longer shakes you, even in imagination. The mind obeys repetition. Your instincts follow rehearsal. Discipline becomes instinct. You have a choice. Your reputation grows quietly. Your authority strengthens invisibly. People learn they cannot destabilize you. They test less. They rely more. They trust instinctively. This is the untouchable mindset, the untouchable presence, the untouchable life. Calm is power. Control is command. Finally, remember this. Emotional control is the foundation. Every skill you develop, every opportunity you seize, every influence you wield rests on it. Without composure, all other achievements are vulnerable. With composure, even small acts create outsized impact. Even minor choices shape destiny. You are now positioned at that threshold. You are untouchable. You have a choice. The world will try to provoke. Life will test you. Circumstance will challenge you. Others will panic, rage, or manipulate. And still, you will remain steady. Still, you will maintain control. Still, you will radiate authority. Calm is power. Control is command. This is not an ending. It is a beginning. A life lived intentionally, decisively, and with quiet discipline. You are untouchable because you mastered yourself. You are untouchable because you repeated, reinforced, and internalized every lesson of mental authority. You are untouchable because you chose discipline when others chose reaction. You have a choice. Stand, breathe, observe, and act. Stand steady. Stand composed. Stand untouchable. Let the world throw storms. Let others react. You command the moment. You command your mind. You command your life. Calm is power. Control is command. And that is mastery. You have now seen the truth most people never understand. Reactions decide destinies. Not talent. Not luck. Not circumstances. Reactions. Every time you pause instead of explode, you win. Every time you observe instead of absorb, you win. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, you win. Weak minds react. Strong minds respond. Masters choose. From this moment forward, install the switch. Pause before speaking. Breathe before acting. Think before deciding. Let others rush. Let others panic. Let others lose control. You will not, because the calm mind commands the moment, and the one who commands the moment commands their life. Now prove it. In the next emotional moment you face, today, not someday, do not react. Pause. Take control. And show yourself that you are no longer ruled by impulse, you are ruled by choice.